To most people, a Saturday morning during COVID means sleeping in and watching college football, but not for me. I make the roughly 2-hour drive down to Lake Elsinore Casino in the hopes of running up a stack. I jump on the list at around 1:50 p.m. and I didn't end up getting a seat until 3:30, but when our name was finally called, we gladly hopped into the 2-3 game. The buy-in structure for that is 40 to 300. We're in for the max. First hand of the day, we pick up pocket jacks from the hijack. The straddle's on, there's 2 calls. My right raises it up to 30. We could raise here, but we haven't seen the opponent be very active to this point or ever even raise, so we just put in the flat call, and so does the button and the straddle and one of the limpers. I'm going 5 ways to the flop here with 161 in the pot, which comes 7, 5, 9 rainbow, nearly as safe as it gets. The straddle now shoves for 31 because he hates money. The middle position player calls. The initial raiser folds, which gives us the green light to do something that we always love to do, which is go all in for the remaining $91 in his stack. The button gladly gets out of the way, and the middle position player isn't going anywhere for 91 more, he calls. Both the opponents are all in, so we're going to a run out. The turn comes the 7 of spades, pairing the board. The river is the 4 of clubs. The opponent in the straddle position shows 6-8 for a flop straight. What a luck box. And it turns out that he actually does love money. He doesn't hate it. And the middle position player now mucks, so we lose the main and scoop the side for $180. Thank you. 330 in our stack, and we look down at pocket ducks from the under the gun +1 position. The straddle's on, I call, and so does the majority of the table. 6 ways to the flop, the dealer puts out 9 of clubs, 9 of spades, king of hearts. We hit none of it. I look to my left though and see the opponent shake his head in frustration, so when it checks to me, I bet $15 and everybody folds. Easy game.
Good night. Oh, yeah.
We then pick up 6-7 suited from middle position. Under the gun limps, and I raise it up to $15 trying to be tricky, but our trickiness doesn't go unnoticed because we end up getting 4 callers. 5 ways to the flop, which comes 8-6 jack. We hit middle pair and a flush draw, and it's a board that's going to hit a lot of people's ranges, but I want to build a pot in case we hit our flush or turn a 2 pair or a trip combo, so I bet $50. My right is the only person who calls, so we're going heads up to the turn with 163 in the pot. Turn comes the 5 of diamonds, so 7-4 and 7-9 get there, as well as a couple 2-pair combos, but it doesn't look like he has any of those because he checks. I now put him all in for less, which is around $82, and he calls and gives us some good news by saying, "Let's gamble, I don't have a pair." We love to hear that. With 327 now in the pot, the river comes the 10 of spades, giving us the flush and ultimately giving him a pair which he thinks is good. He turns his hand over, but we're going to scoop this $327 pot. The dealer now keeps the action coming with ace-king of clubs from middle position. I raise to 14. Middle position and the small blind are the 2 callers, so we're going 3 ways to the flop. Flop comes queen, 6, 7, rainbow. We have 2 overcards and a couple backdoor draws, so I'm not going to give up just yet. I bet 27. Middle position player is sticky and makes the call. Heads up to the turn with 99 in the pot comes the 8 of spades, and now that we don't have anything on the turn and don't improve in any way, we're looking to shut down here, so I check. Middle position player now bets 60, and we have no choice but to fold and watch the dealer push 159 beautiful chips in his direction. At this point, our name gets called for the 5-5 table, which we're gladly going to take. I cash out for 473 in this 2-3 game, so we ended up profiting 173. Fun fact, if we were solely waiting for the 5-5 game and never took the 2-3 seat, it would have been 3 hours and 10 minutes, and yes, I was counting. We take our chips over to the 5-5 table and add on for an additional 200. The buy-in structure is 300 to 1,000 and we're in for 673. First hand of note at this table, we look down in the big blind at pocket 8s. The cutoff limps and the small blind checks, but I'm not going to be checking my option here ever. I raise it up to 20 and get called by the cutoff. Heads up to the flop with 45 in the pot comes king of diamonds, ace of diamonds, 3 of spades. We don't even have a diamond. Terrible board for our exact hand, but honestly it's a pretty good board for our perceived range considering that we raised and he called, so I decided to take a stab here and bet $20, but the cutoff is having none of that and decides to put in the call as well. 85 in the pot, the turn comes the 3 of diamonds, and although we should be firing here one more time, I just can't get myself to do it and I check, and he decides to check it back, so maybe there's a chance that we're good here. River with 85 in it comes the queen of spades. I check it again. I'm not looking to fire here. I just want to get to showdown pretty cheaply. He bets $60 though, and I'm never going to be calling this bet. There's too many overcards to my pocket pair. I fold and he takes that pot down. A while later we pick up king queen offsuit from under the gun. I raise it up to 20. Small blind calls. We're just going heads up to the flop here with 45 in the pot, which gives us top pair king, deuce, 4 with 2 hearts. I check here. I want to balance my range occasionally. Usually I'll just be betting at the 2-3 table, but at this 5-5 game, a lot of people are going to be paying attention. I want to balance my checking range here, but when he has the option to bet, he does not do so, and he checks behind. 45 in the pot, and we turn trips with the king of diamonds. He now leads for $20. And I think we should be raising here a portion of the time to build the pot and deny equity from the heart flush draw. In the moment, that's not what I do. I just call. 85 in the pot, the river comes the jack of diamonds, so the heart draw misses fortunately, and now he checks. It's looking like he was on a draw. Potentially he has a pocket pair of some nature, but I need to get some value here, so I decide to throw out 9 yellow chips, and he thinks for a bit and ultimately calls, which we like. After showing our cards, he mucks his, and it feels good to win a decent sized pot. $725 now in our stack. We look down at queen 9 of diamonds from the small blind. The cutoff raises to 15, and I just feel like this hand has some potential, so I put in the call. The big blind gets out of the way, and he folds. Heads up now to the flop, which comes deuce, king, queen. We hit middle pair, and fortunately we also pick up a diamond, so we got a backdoor diamond draw as well. I want to see what he'll do, so I put in the check, and he's telling the story that he has a king when he decides to bet for $25. And I'm not going anywhere though. We got a lot of options here if we pick up some equity on the turn, so I call. 85 in the pot, the turn comes a 7 of diamonds. That's exactly the card we wanted to see without hitting our exact hand. We now pick up additional outs if we were behind. I check thinking that I'm going to go for the check raise if he bets, but that's not what he does. He folds. Just kidding you guys, he checks, and we're off to the river. The river comes the 6 of diamonds, giving me the flush. The math says that you only have a 4% chance to go runner, runner, flush, so we're not going to waste this golden opportunity. I lead for 65. He doesn't think too long about it and calls. So when we show our flush, he mucks, and we're going to drag that $215 pot. Look down at pocket 3s now from the button, and the middle position player raises to 20. I call here looking to set mine and play a big pot. Flop comes deuce, 4, 8, rainbow. Not exactly what we were looking for. He checks, giving up the initiative, and the board should favor our button calling range more than his middle position raising range, so for that reason I bet $20, but apparently he hits some part of the board because he tosses in the call. 90 in the pot, the turn comes a jack of clubs, another overcard to our measly 3s. Doesn't change too much though, and he checks again. I just don't believe that he has enough of this board to call another bet, so I stab for $45 here, exactly half pot, and he quickly folds, which proves us right, and we scoop that $135 pot. Last hand of the night, we look down at Ace King of Hearts from the button. An early middle position player raises to 20. I 3-bet here to 60 with a premium hand, and now a Russian Netflix watching player in the big blind cold calls, which is definitely unsettling considering the fact that he played one hand since I sat down and was watching Netflix the entire time on his iPad. The early position player who raised to 20 folds, so we're going heads up with the Russian player. The only good news is that we are in position. Flop comes Queen, 5-3, 2 diamonds. We block aces and kings obviously, so when he checks us, I think we should be betting here a large portion of the time, but given all of the reasons I mentioned pre-flop, I decide to check back here and see what happens on the turn. 145 now in the pot. The turn comes the 8 of clubs, and now he leads for a very small amount, $45. This just screams to me a pocket pair going for value, and given that we have no draws, we just have ace high, I decide to give this one up and just let him have the $190 pot. However, I later strike up a conversation with him, and he tells me he's here on vacation from Russia and that he had pocket jacks. Nice hand, sir. Nice hand. We end up racking up our chips after a decently long session. We cash out down $43, which is unfortunate, but we were net positive for the entire trip because of our $170 win in the 2-3 game. So that's it for tonight, you guys. We got into the game for 300 in the 2-3 game, left with 473, I think, so a profit of 173 there. Got into the 5-5 game for a little bit more, and we ended up booking a $43 loss in that one. So overall, made $130 in this session. Hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace! Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.